All right, let's talk about a skill that has become absolutely essential, creating screen recordings and product demos that really pop. We're not just talking about showing something on a screen, we're talking about making videos that sell, teach, and actually leave an impression. So let's dive right in.
Ever have that feeling? You know you've built something amazing, you hit record to show it off, but the final video just doesn't have that spark. It just kind of lands with a thud. Yeah, you are not alone. And today we are absolutely gonna fix that.
You know, the difference is night and day. Over on the left, you've got amateur hour. We've all seen it. Blurry video, that awful tinny microphone sound, a desktop so cluttered it gives you anxiety. But on the right, that's professional polish. We're talking crisp, clean 1080p video, audio that sounds like you're right there in the room, and a super focused UI. This is the difference between a demo that gets ignored and one that gets results.
So, how do we get you to that professional level? Here's our game plan. First, we'll cover why a killer demo is basically a business superpower. Then we'll get into the what, the actual blueprint the pros follow. After that, it's all practical stuff, a pre-flight checklist, how to record like you know what you're doing, and finally, the whole workflow from start to finish.
Okay, first things first, let's talk about the big picture, because a great product demo isn't just a how-to video. Nope, it's one of the most powerful tools you have for building trust and getting people to take action. And hey, don't just take my word for it. The data is pretty clear. A HubSpot report found that a whopping 91% of businesses were using video for marketing just last year. This isn't some fringe tactic anymore. It's the main event. If your video quality isn't up to snuff, you're already behind. And the impact here goes way beyond just marketing. I mean, sure, a good demo can drive signups, but it also cuts down on support tickets because you're answering questions before they're even asked. It builds trust by being transparent. And it can even get your existing users to try out new features. It literally helps at every single stage of the customer journey.
Okay, so we're all on the same page. Great demos matter. A lot. Now let's get into the what. What are the core principles that separate a truly killer demo from just another screen recording?
You know, if you look at the best demos out there, from companies like Slack or Basecamp, they all have a few things in common. They're not just a boring tour of features. They show you real user scenarios. They focus on the results that people actually care about. They talk to you like a human being, and, this is a big one, they get to the point and show you the value within the first 30 seconds.
And really, it all boils down to this. This quote just nails it. It's a total mindset shift. You're not a tour guide pointing at buttons. You are a problem solver, showing your audience a better, faster, smarter way to do something. That right there is the secret sauce. Now we're getting to the really practical stuff. And look, I know this might sound a little boring, but trust me, it's so important. Your prep work is like 80% of what makes a great recording. The stuff you do before you even think about hitting record, that's what sets you up for success.
So here is your non-negotiable checklist. Number 1, always do a quick 30-second test recording. There is nothing worse than finishing a perfect 10-minute take and realizing your mic was off the whole time. Oof. 2, clean your desktop and close every single app you don't need. No random pop-up notifications, please. 3, get your windows all set up before you record. And finally, just make sure your room is quiet.
A big part of that prep is figuring out what you're actually going to say. You've really got two main paths here. A full script is amazing for consistency, but you got to be careful not to sound like a robot. Bullet points, on the other hand, sound way more natural and authentic, but you might go off on a tangent. So you got to pick what works best for you and the goal of the video.
And hey, to help you out with that planning, here's a super useful little number. Most people talk at around 150 to 160 words a minute. So, if you're aiming for a tight 5-minute video, you're looking at a script that's about 750 to 800 words long. It's a great little rule of thumb to keep you on track.
All right, you've done the prep, you know what you're going to say. It is time. Time to hit record. So let's talk about the tech and the techniques that will give you that professional sound and look.
First off, don't get freaked out by all the technical settings. Honestly, for like 95% of what you're ever going to do, this right here is the magic formula. Record in 1080p. It's that perfect mix of great quality and a file size that won't crash your computer. Go with 30 frames per second, it's the standard for a reason, and stick with the H.264 codec. It just works everywhere. And in case you're wondering what a codec even is, it's basically just the method your computer uses to shrink your video file down. Think of it like a zip file, but for video. H.264 is the one that every website and every device understands, which is exactly what we want. Okay, now for what is probably the single most important tip in this whole thing. Let this really sink in. People will put up with video that's a little bit fuzzy. They will. But if your audio is bad, if it's echoey, or there's static, or you can hear a fan in the background, they are gone. Instantly. Bad audio is an absolute deal breaker.
So how do we get that good audio? Simple. You invest in a microphone. And you don't have to break the bank. Even a $100 USB mic, like a Blue Yeti, is going to be a massive leap up from that tiny, tinny mic in your laptop. It is the best money you can possibly spend to make your recordings better.
And once you have that nice mic, just remember the audio rule of 3. It's easy. 1. Position it about 6 to 8 inches from your mouth. 2. Set your audio levels so the loudest you get is right there between -6 and -3 decibels. And 3, please get a pop filter. It's a $10 fix that stops those harsh P and B sounds.
And here's a little workflow secret that will save your sanity. Don't, I repeat, don't try to record a 20-minute demo in one perfect take. It's just not going to happen. Instead, record in smaller, logical chunks. If you mess up, you only have to redo a 2-minute part, not the whole thing. It takes all the pressure off and makes editing a breeze.
Okay, we have recorded our pristine audio and video segments. Now, it's time to bring it all home. What does a modern pro workflow look like to get this thing edited and out into the world?
Well, the tools we use for creating and publishing are moving at lightning speed. A really cool example of this is how new AI platforms are changing the game. I mean, imagine you just built a new app. Now, instead of some clunky process, you can connect it right to tools like GitHub and publish with just one click. This example here is from a platform called Lovable, and it just goes to show how fast you can go from an idea to a live product these days. It's changing everything.
But listen, no matter how fancy your workflow is, there is one rule that every single pro lives by. And that is, always, always keep your original raw recording files. Hard drive space is cheap, but being able to go back 6 months from now to pull a clip or fix something, that's priceless. Seriously, do not skip this step.
So, after all of this, from the big picture strategy to the nitty-gritty tech, it all comes down to a choice. Are you going to create just another screen recording, or are you going to use these ideas to create an experience, something that actually connects with people and gets them to act? The choice is yours.